My grandma loved collecting all these jugs and jars in our tiny home. This was back in Shanghai, where I was born, and our family of 5 was living in a 550 square feet apartment. Despite the physical limits, Grandma would exhaust all the algorithms to optimize every single inch of her shelf space so that all these containers could somehow snuggle in our kitchen cabinet. This is a picture taken at my 5th birthday. And you can see just about 5% of our total kitchen collections right there in the top left corner. We would then use these jars and jugs to go get freshly ground soy milk from a local grocery store, or use them to hold spices and tea leaves and seasoning all year round. When asked, "Why don't we throw them away, Grandma?" she always smiles back at me and says, "There is no away, and everything has a home." Now, I think my grandma wanted the 5-year-old me to know that it's a Ponzi scheme to think everything we throw away would just magically vanish. We have to be mindful of our waste footprint on the planet because, after all, it is our only home. Now, my grandparents lived through poverty in China in the 1930s, and they had to live their life under a conservation mindset because of economic constraints. We live in a very different time now, but her words, "There is no away," stuck with me. I'm here today to talk trash because I believe her mindfulness of waste should be a value that we preserve across generations and geographies. Fast forward to today, I feel like I'm disappointing Grandma every time I get an Amazon package. So I ordered this for my friends a couple weeks ago, and this tiny thing came in a huge box with these bubble wraps. Now raise your hand if you ever felt the same way. I know a lot of you do, and you're not alone. This is to show you that I too fall prey to the modern consumption model. And in fact, 1 million single-use bottles are consumed globally every minute. That's enough to fill up an Olympic-sized swimming pool every 2 minutes. More than 80% of these plastic waste are just burned or landfilled because of a mix of misaligned incentives, lack of education, and insufficient infrastructure for material recovery. Under current rate of consumption, there will be more plastics than fish in the ocean by 2050. And the story doesn't end there. Once exposed, plastics degrade into microplastics, tiny particles that scientists from all over the world have found in the salmon we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. My friends, we're literally changing the way Earth looks, and there's no such thing as away. Away is the garbage patch in the middle of the Pacific. Away is Gilroy, California, 50 miles from here. Away is the landfill sites next to the lowest income population in Indonesia, and away is the food, water, and air that we so depend on every single day. So now you may be wondering, I know this is bad, but what should we do to change the course? Waste is a design flaw, and we should work together as a society to correct the flaw. Consumers, businesses, governments, and nonprofits, we each have a role to play in this team sport. As business leaders, we're uniquely positioned and empowered to make scalable impact by creating our brands into agents of change. So I'm going to focus today's talk on 3 levers that business leaders can use to design out waste across the value chain. Lengthen product life cycle, increase operational efficiency, and extend producer responsibility. And the good news is, designing out waste can translate into short-term and long-term economic gains. Let me tell you how. First, the post-pandemic world presents an opportunity for businesses to shift our economy away from take, make, waste. Let's not make this crisis go to waste. Out of the pandemic, consumers will be savvier than ever by choosing quality over quantity, functionality over disposability, and value over price. To appeal to this shifting demand towards value-based consumption, businesses can look into investing in materials and products that are inherently more durable and recyclable by nature. In addition, we can create incentives and mechanisms to engage our consumers in reusing and recycling the products. By lengthening that product life cycle, we're adding more touch points along the customer journey and thereby strengthening that relationship and building brand loyalty. Case in point, Patagonia successfully launched the campaign called Don't Buy This Jacket for Black Friday to raise awareness about buying fewer but better. They also made repair the new fashion through their Wornwear program that collects secondhand clothes and gears. Second, waste to some extent means loss of efficiencies in the value chain and missed opportunities for cost savings. This is why it makes most direct economic sense to design out waste. For example, food waste is a $400 billion loss globally. A company called A-Fresh is targeting the food waste problem in the perimeter of grocery stores. They use AI-powered technologies to optimize the quantity of fresh foods ordered every day into the store. As a result, they've saved up to 20 million pounds of food waste and helped grocery stores increase gross margin in produce by 40%. Lastly, just like any externality problems, there is a way to use market force to correct the flaw. And in our case, these measures are called Extended Producer Responsibility Laws, or EPR. In the US, California is actually running a ballot to tax producers of single-use plastics. Business leaders should proactively embed these EPR measures into our core business strategy. Because again, social norms are changing and regulations are catching up. Doing nothing is no longer a viable option. Here's an example of how companies are doing it. A small number of environmentally conscious beverage companies in the Bay Area, such as Strauss and La Vie, are committed to collecting back their bottles for reuse. These programs are core to their mission to reduce waste footprint of their products from end to end. Last year, more than 50 of the largest consumer packaged goods companies signed the US Plastics Pact to commit to 100% reusable, recyclable, and compostable packaging by 2025. It's a step in the right direction, but we need a lot more investment in access, education, technology, and infrastructure to make it a reality. As business leaders, I want us to challenge ourselves to reinvent the business model by lengthening product life cycle, increasing operational efficiency, and extending producer responsibility. At the end of the day, what should matter to all of us is that we leave the world a better place than we found it. A place where waste is no longer a design flaw. A place where we can proudly tell our grandkids, there is no away, and everything has a home. Thank you.